Super Showdown is over, but the WWE Universe is still reeling from the main event that saw Bill Goldberg defeat The Fiend for the Universal Championship, a move that has some fans wondering if The Fiend is finished. Join us now as Wrestlemania looks at whether the WWE has killed The Fiend. Be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell for daily wrestling videos. Wyndham Rotunda, a third-generation superstar who bounced back from his average Husky Harris character and returned as Bray Wyatt, the sinister leader of the Wyatt family cult. Despite being over with the fans, the main event eluded Wyatt until he won the WWE Championship at 2017's Elimination Chamber pay-per-view. Regrettably, Wyatt served as a transition champion, dropping the belt to Randy Orton at Wrestlemania 33 in an almost universally reviled match. Wyatt's career never seemed to get back on track, and a pairing with Matt Hardy as the Deleters of the World ended abruptly after Hardy was injured. Perhaps realizing they'd dropped the ball with the Bray Wyatt character, the WWE showed incredible boldness, at least for the conservative family-friendly company, revising Wyatt's character to an apparently reformed host of a children's television show. It quickly became clear Wyatt was still having issues, especially when he introduced his Fireflies to his protector, The Fiend. The angle was masterfully crafted and executed, with Wyatt hinting at his past characters through personifications in his show's characters Abby the Witch, Huskus the Pig, and Mercy the Buzzard. The Fiend quickly seized WWE fans' attention once he began taking out WWE legends such as Mick Foley and Kurt Angle with the Mandible Claw. From there, Wyatt attacked Finn Balor, setting up a squash match that established The Fiend as a seemingly unstoppable monster. The Fiend was now ready to make an impact on the WWE, but incredibly, the WWE nearly killed the character from the start. After defeating Finn Balor, The Fiend challenged the then Universal Champion Seth Rollins, getting a title match at Hell in a Cell. Although The Fiend was supposed to be a heel, he was already getting over with the fans, while Seth Rollins, who was supposedly a babyface, building up the fans' enmity. That alone made the match problematic, but when the WWE put the two in a Hell in a Cell bout where there had to be a winner, things only got worse. If The Fiend won, they were putting the belt on an untested new character just a month after Rollins defeated Brock Lesnar quite convincingly. However, if Rollins defeated The Fiend, they'd damage or outright destroy all the time and effort they'd put into the character. What happened at Hell in a Cell still boggles the mind. The WWE went with a non-finish in the match, with the referee stopping the match after Seth Rollins seemingly killed his opponent. Fans were disgusted with the finish, but fans stuck by The Fiend, although they gave up on Rollins, forcing them to turn him heel. Fast forward to Super Showdown, where The Fiend is defending his Universal Championship after winning it at WWE's last Saudi show, Crown Jewel. The fans watching Super Showdown are intrigued at the thought of WWE Hall of Famer Bill Goldberg battling The Fiend. Many fans saw it as a chance for the WWE to further put The Fiend over before his rumoured WrestleMania match against Roman Reigns. The WWE has been quietly rebuilding Reigns' reputation, with the fans following his inspiring return from his battle against leukemia. Many of the fans who once booed the big dog are now cheering him, and his much-hinted match against The Fiend was seen as a true test of whether he was ready for a main event run holding a world championship again. Incredibly, that's not what happened, and fans are still dizzied at the thought that the WWE would take the belt off The Fiend right before WrestleMania. There have been rumours that the WWE will now take The Fiend in a different direction, possibly building him in a match against John Cena. While a Fiend vs Cena match counts as a dream match, it raises the question whether the WWE is going to go with the obvious and have its beloved babyface defeat The Fiend, or do what's best for business and get The Fiend back on track with a big win. As we discussed in our video Why Goldberg Defeated The Fiend, there is some possible good that could come out of The Fiend's defeat, such as taking him into a new direction that doesn't involve a world championship. The question remains on whether the WWE has given up on Bray Wyatt and his devilish doppelganger. It's arguable they took things a bit too far with The Fiend in terms of making him so dominant, as The Fiend's ability to absorb tremendous amounts of punishment echoed The Undertaker's early career. But the WWE took things to ridiculous extremes, whether it was Seth Rollins hitting double-digit curb stomps on The Fiend with no effect, or similar situations where wrestlers' finishes were portrayed as useless. Even the WWE's other monster heel Brock Lesnar does some selling, and they needed to establish that Wyatt can be defeated under the right circumstances. However, having a 53-year-old part-timer, and by part-timer we mean a superstar who wrestles so infrequently he makes Brock Lesnar look like a full-timer, defeat your new monster is questionable, especially someone whose acts still seem to have lots of gas left in the tank. The reason they chose to have Goldberg win was the company's usual reason. They don't know what to do, so they scrap everything they're building up and go with the wrestler likely to evoke lots of nostalgia in the WWE's eyes in an attempt to boost buy rates for Wrestlemania 36. We've established why The Fiend has lost, but the question is, has the WWE ruined everything they've spent the last year building up? At the risk of giving ambiguous answers, we say theoretically one loss shouldn't hurt The Fiend. They could have him enjoy another undefeated streak as fans wonder who will be able to copy Bill Goldberg's feat and pin The Fiend's shoulders for a 3 count. Putting The Fiend into more high-profile programs would help build him back up, and the WWE could even go with the long-discussed dream match of The Fiend versus The Undertaker. The problem, of course, is that we're dealing with Vince McMahon, a short-sighted promoter who is in panic mode after he faces national competition for the first time in nearly 20 years, and not to mention ever-sinking stock prices. When things get desperate, McMahon is ready to jettison things he has spent months or longer building up. You'll recall how Vince dumped the invasion angle back in 2001 after a handful of events, rather than give it time to develop. Of course, with all things that Vince McMahon does, it was a last-minute change. In fact, Meltzer reported originally that Goldberg was set to lose the match, but the plans were changed last minute. Ironically, The Fiend is probably the most over character the WWE has had in years, whether it's popping crowds or selling merchandise. With The Fiend being a part-time performer, and Bray Wyatt filling in with Firefly Funhouse segments, it's hard to blame SmackDown's problems on Wyatt. The argument can't be made that a part-time champion is hurting the blue brand, because it's the exact same situation on Raw with Brock Lesnar as WWE champion. In fact, it's just another case of Vince McMahon getting frustrated and looking for a scapegoat, in this case The Fiend. Rather than looking at long-time solutions to the WWE's problems, Vince is looking at short-term opportunities with John Cena and Bill Goldberg to build up WrestleMania. What happens after WrestleMania is a problem for another time, a time Vince McMahon doesn't want to be bothered with. Fans may be wondering why Vince seems so gung-ho on loading up this year's WrestleMania with stars and dream matches, but the reason seems obvious. Vince wants to pop a big rating/buy rate, not so much for promoting the WWE network, but because the WWE is looking to license the streaming rights to its pay-per-views. It's obvious Vince thinks John Cena and Goldberg will bring in more buys rather than established stars like Roman Reigns or, here, revamped main eventers like The Fiend. As for The Fiend's future, things look a little dismal. McMahon never seemed to understand the magic he had with the Bray Wyatt character during the Wyatt family days, and it's possible he's confused about The Fiend. Even if he thought the character had potential, Vince's seemingly short attention span makes us think he's moved on to whatever his next pet project is. To The Fiend's credit, his main event run was longer than Bray's run as WWE champion. If they have given up on The Fiend, it's difficult to imagine him in any role other than that of a dominant monster heel. The idea of The Fiend counting the lights on a regular basis just doesn't fit his character, and fans will quickly lose interest in him. Wyatt has performed well in creating a mystique about his new character, but wrestling fans typically go with superstars who win the majority of their matches, and anything less for The Fiend just isn't the same. Ultimately, the choice is up to Vince McMahon, but history is not on The Fiend's side. He's a unique character who is way over, but history is full of unique characters who have been over with the fans, only to fall out of favour with McMahon and end up on main event or future endeavoured. While it doesn't seem likely that The Fiend is going away, Super Showdown may be the end of a run like that The Undertaker could have successfully gone on for decades. If The Fiend counts the lights at WrestleMania, fans can count on him becoming just another failed moment of greatness in the WWE, all because of Vince McMahon's hotshot booking and failure to look at the big picture when it comes to entertaining the fans and building his business. But there you have it, guys. Whether the WWE has truly killed The Fiend. What do you guys think? Is this the end for The Fiend? Can he bounce back? Be sure to leave your comments down below, subscribe if you haven't already, follow us on Instagram and Twitter, and I'll see you next time with some more wrestling content.